Hi friends, hope you are doing fine. So today I'm going to discuss some tips about the Humboldt Fellowship, and this is the Humboldt Postdoctoral Fellowship to do research in Germany. Typically, the Humboldt Foundation gives 500 such fellowships each year, and the success rate is about 25 to 30%. And also, these fellowships are given in social sciences and humanities, as well as natural sciences and the engineering domains. So there are many fellowships which are possible, and again remember, this is open to people of all nationalities. So let us look at some of the funds you get for this fellowship. So essentially they pay you 2,670 euro per month for a typical fellowship candidate, and the fellowship can be up to 24 months. And this fellowship amount may go up to 3,170 euro per month for experienced candidate. So this amount of money seems quite reasonable, and also it is not taxed in Germany. So essentially this money is the money you get in hand. Now essentially when you apply for the Humboldt Fellowship, you apply in any given time, and the selection committee meets in March, July, and November. So the advantage of knowing this fact is that, in contrast to some other fellowships which have deadlines, as far as the Humboldt Fellowship is concerned, you can submit your application whenever you are ready, and then they are just going to get this information. They are going to get the letters of reference, they are going to get the comments on your proposal, and then they are going to put it all to the selection committee to decide as to what is the outcome of this selection committee meeting. And like I mentioned before, about 25 to 30% of the people who apply are likely to get it. So I would say this is a reasonably good success rate. Now, what does the host get in terms of your Humboldt Fellowship, and why should he or she want to host you? One of the things which Humboldt Foundation puts out is that the host gets euro 500 for a person per month if you are a humanities or social science PhD, and he or she gets 800 euros per month if you are a natural science or engineering PhD. So this money is given to the host to help him or her defray some of the expenses of your trip. And in the case of natural sciences and engineering, there may be some need for consumables, maybe some chemicals or some things need to be bought as part of your research. So this is going to certainly make the host feel somewhat better about hosting a Humboldt Fellow. Now, I have mentioned in a previous video that one of the main problems in any kind of fellowships, especially the Humboldt Fellowship, is trying to get a host for your proposal and for your fellowship. So this fact is certainly going to help you as far as the host is concerned. Now if we look at this amount of money, something like 2,600 to 3,100 euro, you may think that this is a good amount of money to stay in Germany, but do remember that rent costs a lot, and 40 to 50% of your stipend may actually go toward paying rent if you are not careful. So in many of the bigger cities and even some smaller towns, the cost of renting any place is very high. And one of the strategies you can use here is to go for a guest house. And so many German universities have some guest houses which are associated with them, and you should talk to your host and to some other people who may be there in the department at the university as to what kind of place you can stay. Now in my case, when I went to Germany, I actually came to realize after some time that I was staying in a cloister, and a cloister is essentially like a monastery, and monks used to stay there, and this place has been converted into a university guest house. So this was in the city of Ulm in Germany. So one of the advantages of staying in places like the cloisters or dorms is that the rent is very low, and so therefore you can have a lot of funds for your different expenses such as food, travel, clothes, whatever else you may need to do with the money, maybe buy some books and so on. Now let me give you some more tips from my personal experience and that of my friends. So the first thing is that always try to travel directly to Germany from your home country if this is possible, or travel on some route which has been traveled by people before. So I know of some case where a person did a lot of optimization and he wanted to land in Germany in the morning, and so he took some circuitous route to get to Germany. And what happened is later he came to realize that he needed a transit visa, and so this guy had to go and get one more visa and so on. And in case he would not have known about this transit visa, he may actually have gotten stranded in this country because he had not planned for a direct route. Now the second thing is that try to go to Germany by yourself if you are taking your family, and then after some time, once you have found the place to stay, you can call your family there, because it's very difficult if you land up with your whole family in Germany to actually find a suitable place to stay and then look for the apartments or look for a place to stay and so on. So again, this situation is going to certainly help you. Now the next thing is make sure that you get health coverage as soon as you land in Germany. So this is very important because again, I know one unfortunate case where a person went to Germany and the very next day he fell down from the stairs and broke his leg, and this guy did not have proper insurance documentation. So again, make sure that you have health insurance coverage, because that's very important. Whenever you go to a foreign country, you do not have access to all the resources which you have in your home country. So it's going to be very much necessary that you have health insurance coverage. And again, talk to your host, talk to the Humboldt Foundation people. They are pretty receptive if you send emails to them, and you can fix this particular problem. Now, one more thing is that if you are traveling inside Germany, it's always a good idea to take trains instead of planes. And in case you want to go to some university and give a talk, you can send off an email to some professor that you are coming and they may host you for a talk or something like that. Also, you can go to different places for conferences within Germany. And essentially, Germany has a very good and well-connected public transportation system. So you can take either the ICE train if you want to go quickly from point A to point B, or there is a slower and less expensive regular train. I think that's like red in color, and you can take that train also if you want to save money, and that's somewhat slower but not much slower. Now the other thing which will help you save money in Germany is to get a monad pass or a monthly pass and use it for your bus travel. So when I was in Germany, I was essentially using this kind of bus pass to go from my cloister where I was staying to essentially the department where I was working. And this bus pass also lets you travel at different times. So if you want to sometime go to a shopping center or to go to the railway station, you can again use this bus pass to travel through the entire month. Now, one more tip is that whenever you are selecting a university to work in Germany, try to select good universities in small towns, because these areas tend to be much cheaper and you can easily stay on fellowship money in these areas, whether you are getting the Humboldt fellowship or you are getting the DAAD fellowship, that's the DAAD for PhD students and so on. So I was, for example, staying in Ulm, Germany. So Ulm, Germany is situated somewhere between Stuttgart and Munich, and these two cities are, for example, extremely expensive. So I know of some people who were staying in those cities and they had a lot of problems in terms of getting places to stay for rent. Remember that rent is the main cost as far as your trip is concerned, and 40 to 50% of your money may go to rent if you stay in one of the expensive big cities, which are essentially the centers of finance or technology or engineering, as the case may be. Finally, I would say that if you are going in the social science and humanities discipline, it's very important to take some German language courses, and Humboldt Foundation does offer you a fully paid German language course, because in case you are going to study any aspect of the humanities or social science in Germany, for example, the issue of how immigrants in Germany are living or the issues of gender in Germany and so on, it's always good to know the German language if you are going to penetrate into the society and understand its basic working. However, if you are in the natural science and engineering domain, you essentially do not need to know a lot of German. There, the lingua franca is essentially English, and so that may be enough for you. But do remember that you will not be able to take part in most of the meetings, most of the lunch discussions and so on, because these are likely to be in German, and the German you pick up by some simple course is not going to be enough for you to understand when the Germans actually start talking in fast German. So that's like really difficult to understand. So again, taking some formal training in German would be good if you want to make the most of your visit. Finally, one tip for people who are visible minorities is that try to stay in West Germany and not go to the areas in East Germany, because I have myself learned and from experiences of other people that there are some areas of East Germany which are somewhat more xenophobic, and therefore if you are a visible minority you may encounter problems there. So generally it is much better to stay in West Germany, and Berlin is okay, but generally if you are not able to stay in Berlin, always try to go for the cities or nearby places such as Hamburg or Stuttgart or Munich or some of these areas. So these are some tips which will help you in case you are planning a visit to Germany, and it will help to mitigate any problems which you may face. So I hope this video was useful for you. Again, subscribe to my channel and do like my videos, because the YouTube algorithm likes that, and that will help to rank my videos better and help the people at large in the research and education domain. So thank you for listening to me, and I will see you in a video sometime soon. See you then.